the offense, okay? The offense looked incredible. It looked really good. I know, Steve, you have some stats that we're going to go over here. Let's go ahead and go over those stats, and let's kind of break it down from each perspective, and let's hash it out here, big dog.
Sure. So, like, a couple things, man, and the one things I want to throw out there are that these were two very, very balanced teams. Very balanced teams. Total offense for Utah, 446 yards. Total offense for Florida, 451 yards. I mean, look, in a 60-minute game, you're literally talking about the difference of a six, what? Yeah, 5 to 6 yard difference in a 60-minute game. That's insane. That tells you that both of those teams going in and what they were able to produce on the field is just unbelievable with the parity they had.
Yeah, it looked like it. It was a dogfight, back and forth, blow for blow. Here's where I got pumped up from the Gators offense perspective. I lost my voice in the first 5 minutes of the game. I'm going to be honest with you guys. They came out there and they looked good. They were running the ball effectively, and all the running backs looked incredible from my perspective, in my opinion. There's obviously some things they need to work on, and I'll make sure that I hold these guys accountable and have some critique, not just straight, excitement today. I'll be sure to tone it down a little bit. But I was fired up. It's been a while, it seems like, since the offense kind of looked in control and looked comfortable. The play calling was a little vanilla in a sense where I don't feel like we really took a lot of chances, a lot of risk. I don't hate that. I liked it. I was okay with it. To me, the fumble in the beginning for Montrell Johnson, that was the game either way. That could have been the game for Utah where the momentum the air is just taken out of the room, right? Just sucked out of there, and Utah just kind of just starts beating away and chipping away. For the boys not to get deterred by that and be able to bounce back and score. I was talking about this in the beginning of the game because the Utah coach has been there for like 10 plus years, like 18 years. Mm-hmm. And I was like, look, if it comes close, it's going to come down to like they trust in their coach more because it's like that father figure who's been there for a long time. We trust in this guy no matter what he says because he's been doing it for a long time, right? Billy's obviously hasn't been. So if they feel uneasy or uncertain about the game plan, they may be more likely to go rogue because they're not believing in what they're seeing. They didn't do that. So Billy's done a great job of building the culture and making sure they trust him and believe in him and like, hey, we're going to get this done today. So that was good to see, and that they didn't get, they didn't allow it to control the game. I honestly believe they go down and score there on that first drive. The game isn't as close as what it was. The defense comes out, gets a quick stop. We go down and score again. It's 14-0 quick. It didn't happen that way. It doesn't matter. We're talking about what ifs. Who cares? But it was. I'm glad we didn't fall apart there. I'm really glad we didn't fall apart.
Yeah, look, the one thing I will take away from this is that Trevor Etienne on his inaugural game looked great.
Unbelievable. We're going to get into that.
4 yards. Yeah, we'll talk about that for a minute. But I mean, just the situations that they put him into as an offense. It focused on his strengths. Like you've got Montrell back there. You've got your workhorse and the guy that understands the offense coming with Billy from Louisiana. But it just looked like Trevor had just this skill set that when they needed 7 yards, he could get them 9, and when they needed 4 yards, he could get him 6. And no matter where he was on the field, when they used him at such a situational critical point, and he just was every time he was right where he needed to be. I was super impressed with Trevor.
Very impressed. Very impressed. Yeah. The O-line impressed me. I think the investment in the two offensive linemen or two O-line coaches is definitely paying dividends, and hopefully that transitions into recruiting now, right? Because that's something where we've lacked. We've got Najee and the boys. Recruiting heavy, and I think the showing here, I said the recruiting is going to heat up tremendously. We had Trey on the podcast yesterday. We went live from the swamp. Check that out if you haven't seen it yet. And he said some more is coming. Marcus Stokes just tweeted the news that he'd be hearing, right? It's getting buck nasty. I think the game went as perfectly as it could have from a recruiting standpoint, with the loudness of the stadium, with the intensity of the stadium, with the outcome of the game, with the big factor here too. Trevor's a freshman. Let's not forget this. The guy signed back in February. We were here when that happened. So here's what this tells other recruits. You're good. You're going to play. You're going to see the field. I don't care how young you are. If I can see the potential, you're going to get on the board, right? And that's going to speak volumes to these recruits. If like we can come here and play and be competitive now. And so look, he had a successful night. He had the fumble, which I love. He went and tweeted about it. He said, look, we're getting ahead of ourselves because that was the kids' topic, but we're having a good time, so let's let it ride. He said, he's like, look, I should have dropped the ball, which is good that he acknowledged it. He recovered it, right? But that could have been the game there too. Real quick before you keep going on, we got a quick super chat from Daniel. He's got to get his Georgia love in there. Utah shot themselves in the foot, but congratulations, Georgia had some duck. We want all that Gator smoke. We want Georgia too, Daniel. We want Bama. We want all you. Okay, bring them. I'll drop the Addy, Daniel. I'll drop the Addy. And we got a quick super chat too. We're from hold on, boys and girls. Hold on, real quick here. Hunter Wolf.
Yep.
Wait, oops, wrong one. Says beat reigning Pac-12 champs and refs. Get the F out, Daniel. Like I love it.
I thought the refs called a good game. They let both teams play. You and I talked about this a little bit before the cast. I don't remember any silly like pass interference calls, like anything that really disrupts the game. There was one call where it looked like the wide receiver dropped the ball and he kind of ended up cradling it with his feet.
But that was a drop pass. I don't really blame that on anybody. That was a missed call on the ref.
They got back to the line so fast.
But the refs should have called that. They should. I felt like it was Florida versus Utah on the refs last night. A Utah guy came and commented on the page and was like, it was us versus the SEC refs.
No,
not
I don't
even
see
close.
That at all. I actually thought that was a game where the refs somewhat took a step back in a short of clock management. Everything that they did, they looked at every small play that even towards the goal line, which we can certainly get into either now or later.
Sure.
But I mean, they made sure that everything that we saw looked right. I mean,
I was happy with it. There was a few things.
The one pass was like a little bit wonky, but it ended up it cradling in the guy's feet. And maybe you just think it's a spectacular catch, but it is what it is. Like I think that one thing can slide.
Real quick, Little King Chris just became a member. Welcome to the family. I think that puts us over 60, and that means that we're going to do a giveaway next Wednesday for our members for 2 Gator tickets, which is incredible. I'll double check the stats here, but that's some exciting stuff, boys. We are on an absolute piss missile, and I love it. Again, O-line looks solid. Wide receivers looked healthy. My concern is the tight end room. That was the big takeaway from the offensive side of things that I wasn't sold on. With Xanders and Zipper. They looked a little confused out there. They weren't as impactful. I mean, Utah's tight ends, my goodness, those guys were eating last night. Huge shout out to those boys, Kincaid and Uth. Those guys were just a vacuum, just catching everything. And we're going to get into the defensive play calling a little bit too. I think part of it was called the defensive play calling, as well as Utah's offense was just a nice, healthy, well-around, all-together offense. I mean, we're critiquing the defense a little bit, but like someone just said earlier, it's the reigning Pac-12 champions. They're favored by a few people to go to the Final Four to the playoffs. So for us to we can't beat ourselves up that bad. I see a few Gator fans saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna come roast it." Yeah, that's easy to roast it, but actually look at it. Look at the film. Look at what happened. I haven't quite watched it yet, but from what I remember last night, I wasn't upset with it, and we'll get into that. We're still on the offensive things. Travis Everett says, "Can we talk about the stream last night outside the house?" Look, there might be a few of those that kind of come through the year, and I think those are a treat that you guys, if you want to be part of that, make sure you turn the bell on, because you never know what's going to happen when old piss missiles are flying and the boys are getting dubs, okay? You just got to stay ready, all right? That's all I got to say about that, okay? The astronaut suit is on for a reason, because we're headed out of this stratosphere, boys. We're dialed in right now. Let me see here. Shelton said, Shelton rebuked me last night for saying we're not back yet. He was seriously on the Rocky Mountain High last night. Look, baby, you can't, when we're flowing and the juices are pumped and I said the Gators are back, the negativity isn't needed right then and there. Don't take me off my buzz. We'll talk about it when I'm in a more of a even playing field, right? Like right now we can talk about it. Are we back? Hell yeah, we're back, Scoop. Look, for me, are we at the Georgia level who just completely railroaded Oregon? No, not there yet. But at the same time, Oregon at the beginning of the year wasn't at what Georgia at the beginning of the year last year wasn't at what Georgia was at the end of the year, because they grew into it, right? They realized like, hey, we can be that team, and they developed. This was huge for Florida's first step. We talked about this game being a crucial game on it, whether it being a 6-6 season or a 9-3, 10-2 season. And how it looks good for a 10-2, 9-3 season. Look, I think Georgia's still going to be a tough game. That's going to be tough. A&M's going to be tough. And there could be another one in there, the Kentucky, Tennessee. Those are going to be tough games. Look, Kentucky's still going to be tough next week. Don't get it twisted. We have some things to work on. There is some penalty issues that I was frustrated with. It felt like there was that lack of accountability, a few false starts. I was screaming at the TV. What about the White Sox? Right? Remember, because that's supposed to solidify the team unity. I didn't feel like what's going on here. But yeah. Also too, we have a candy cane now, a celebration cane that we dance with. I kind of was roasting that last night. There's some people that enjoy it. I don't know.
That's like when Taggart was at FSU with that weird backpack thing they did. I saw that thing and I was like, "Is that like
the turnover book
like
bag?"
The guy who oh yeah, the turnover bag. Well, no, it was like secure the bag. That was the whole thing. But it was like a Louis Vuitton bag. But that looks like the marching band.
The marching band. That's what I said. They're going to lead the marching band. I don't know. It was weird. I wasn't a huge fan. It gives the kids something to get hyped up about, so I'm not going to really roast it too hard. Real quick, though, we got just another member, Cam Bishop. We're over 60.
Boy.
There's never a doubt, boys. We're dialed in here on the stream. Welcome to the family, Cam. We tried to come see you, Cam. We walked all the way over to spot 252, and you weren't there yet.
252.
We were there.
Not there.
Chris was with us. Chris Rowley can confirm that we walked all the way over there to come see you, big dog. Holy crap, am I seeing this right? We're almost about to break 400 viewers for the first time. You guys are incredible. Gator Nation is through the roof. Make sure you guys drop a like if you're brand new here. Subscribe. We go live every Wednesday and Sunday to talk Gator sports mostly. Also, we talk about everything else we can possibly think of and pull together. But you guys are incredible. Before we move on to the next topic, which is we're going to go back to Trevor Etienne here in just a second because I want to praise that man. We talked about Trevor with Connor Clark. We were live from the swamp yesterday, boys and girls. I don't know. I keep saying it because I just want to pinch myself. You know what I mean? Like we were live from the swamp. Like, you guys hear me? Live from the swamp yesterday. We were on Gator Walk, right? It's crazy. Aaron Bryant just became a member. You guys are on a roll here tonight, boys and girls. Let's get the likes up. I love it. We're on a roll here, boys. Let's see the comments here. Let's see what you guys are saying. All right. Face mask and holding drop passes. Yeah, look, there was some accountability, some things that the offensive can grow on. But I love the wide receivers, bro. Ricky Pearsall, number 1. But it was leading receiver. How many receiving yards did he have, Steve? I know you got the data there, buddy.
I do. Let's see. Ricky, we just dialed him up a second ago. 67 yards on his
how many catches?
Night. Four catches, 67 yards. Averages 16 per play.
So look, that for what it was, because I think Anthony he finished under 200 yards, like 180 yards passing, if I'm correct, like 178.
168. Yep.
168. Okay. And so look, with that many passing yards, and he has 60 of it, right? Just under half of the yards were going to Ricky. Again, the play calling was a little vanilla, wasn't too explosive, kept it in front of them, ran the ball like we expected. The first play of the game was a run play, but I think with the O-line, it looks like they put a lot of effort into that O-line being healthy and thick. It worked. I was okay with it. And I love the fact that it gave Anthony time. I mean, there was so much time that I felt one time he tied his shoe back there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He tied his shoe, drew up a play, and then threw it. I was like, the guy had all day at times, which was good. Now, is that because the Utah Z was bad? That's that first game, we don't know, right? Because it's all just perspective on what it could be. So it could be Utah's line was that bad. We'll get a better understanding come Utah, obviously, and then Tennessee. USF will be a nice little kind of, I would hope, a rester. They kind of got blown out by BYU. So I don't think there'll be too much of a problem for us, but who knows? You never know with those boys.
So the one thing I will say about Utah is, it felt like they didn't blitz much at all.
Utah?
They were willing to sit back and let Richardson beat them with their arm in the secondary. And what happened is exactly the opposite. Richardson had 168 yards passing, no touchdowns. 106 yards rushing with 3 touchdowns. So they played the game of we're going to make Richardson beat us, and he found a way to beat them. I don't think that they were under the impression that Richardson was as fast as he was. Look, Montrell Johnson only had 75 yards. ETN had 64 on half the carries.
What did Naquan end up with?
10 carries, 39 yards.
Yeah, Naquan wasn't really dialed in as much as I think we were hoping. Little King Chris says, thanks. My girl has told me it's annoying how much I've been listening to y'all this month, but I need more. I love it. I love it. Hunter Wolf, super chat. He said Hunter Wolf says it was a Pac-12 officiating crew. We'll have SC crew next year at Utah. Yeah, I don't know why they were kind of ragging on us about Utah or the refs. I felt that it was a little one-sided, but
so the one thing I don't see on the topics here, Sheldon, and this is something that you and I chatted about after we left the swamp. Everybody in Utah prepared for the humidity. They prepared for the heat.
They thought they did.
They knew.
They thought.
Son, let me tell you, for 2 guys, actually 4 or 5 guys, because it wasn't just the guys in front of the camera. So we got a great support staff that are helping us out doing other things to make the cast go the way it does. But we were dying out there. And we're from here. We're from Florida. And what
was
happened
extra special yesterday, boys.
Ooh, boy. What happened in the first quarter is one of their corners, one of the cornerback safeties, just starts. He can't even hold it in. He's just puking
the puke memes have been phenomenal.
They ran him off the field.
A lot of cramps were happening.
Oh, look, yeah, they started dropping.
People thought we were kind of just trying to troll, but I'm like, it's a real thing.
I don't think you get it. Like, it's a weird thing where it's like it's hot and it's wet, and you can't really sweat. It's not real sweat. It's like it's different. Like
it's like the water bottle, right? Like the water bottle has like the sweat on it, and then you leave like a wet ring on your table. That's you. Right, and the water bottle does. Yeah, the water bottle doesn't know what's going on, but you're slowly losing water, and it's like, well, I'm wet. So I'm like, am I really losing water? Like, yeah, you're dying right now, bud.
But the water doesn't get cold per se, right? It doesn't feel like it's like it's beating you up, and then all of a sudden you turn around,
Dave,
and you're
Nicole.
like, oh, it just overwhelms you.
Yeah,
what's going on?
It does. Where's Whittemore? I did see Whittemore on the field. I saw Reynolds was more involved in play calling than Whittemore was, but I did see him on the field a few times, just not getting the ball thrown a lot to him. So, again, I don't think he only had, 17 passes, and 6 of those we said were to Ricky, correct?
17 for 68, and Ricky had 4 for 67.
Ricky had 4, excuse me. Okay. I got the run. Okay, so he had 4. I know Jaquan Frazier, who is my Dark Knight all year long, he caught the 2-point conversion. So I loved seeing that.
My boy Keon had a catch for 7 yards.
Zipper,
I saw him.
He did. Yeah. He did. It looked like he was starting more. I know he wasn't on the depth chart. He wasn't the starter, but I felt like I saw him more. Same thing with the Montrell and Naquan. Naquan was on the depth chart, the starter, but as we saw, Montrell was the guy. Right? It was Montrell, then Trevor, in my opinion. So if I had to redo the depth chart now from what I see, it's going to be Montrell, Trevor, then Naquan. Trevor tickling that front spot. I think what's going to hold him back is just, look, he's got to get more reps. He had the one fumble, small mishap. Montrell fumbled as well, too. Montrell's fumble was a little more, I feel like, if you would say, like, accepted, because it was a good strip on Utah's part. The Trevor one was more of like you're looking ahead, right? There was a big break there, and you kind of you let up on, right? You kind of forgot about it.
You didn't hold the egg.
Yeah. You got lazy on it. So that's I think that's where that rookiness comes in. What I loved is that Billy kept him in. Next play, hurry up, gave him the ball again. Like, look, move past it, right? Forget about it. Let's keep it going. Which I loved that. I thought that was great. At the time, I hated it. Right, and this is where I think like the big nut Billy just kind of gets it dialed in. He wasn't worried about it, but I was stressing. I was stressing for a quick. I was like, "Yo, get out of there!" He's freaking out.
Yeah, he needs a gasser, right? No, but hey, look, for the balance of carries, we had Richardson with 11 and 3 touchdowns. That was clearly the leader. Montrell with 12 carries, Naquan with 10, and Trevor with 5. So good balance there in your top 3.
Which we talked about it being, it's not going to be like a heavy, one running back. It's going to be a 3-headed monster back there, which is exactly what we saw. Muddy says, I saw this too. I was screaming at the TV when this happened. Said, loved how Dean got into Cam Rising's face. Many of the guys kept hitting him and letting him hear about it. I was getting hyped. Bro, respect to Cam Rising. I nicknamed him Cam Sinking last night, but he was talking a lot of smack. Okay, every chance he got, he was running his mouth. And when Dean was screaming at him, bro, I was like this close to the TV, saying, "Let him know what house you're in. Let him know." I thought about streaming me watching the game, but I don't know how, what you guys got last night. I think was a good dose. Okay, I think I don't want to scare you guys off just yet. We got some members in, some new subscribers. Let's get to know one another first. Let's go out to dinner. Let's have a nice little, feng shui. Okay, before we get too wild with it, we'll have to stream one of these games. And ladies and gentlemen, record breaking. We just broke 400 viewers, which is absolutely incredible. I'm lost for words. Gator Nation's unreal. Drop a like, boys. Let's keep this show rolling. We are on fire this afternoon.